do you know Mr. Brown?
I've had an ongoing relationship with Mr. Brown for over 20 years. I must have sold him at least half a dozen cars over the years. Some of them he's paid for, most of them he has not.
So have you repossessed cars from him before?
Oh yeah.
Well, why do you, how many?
I don't know, I've lost count over the years.
This is the plaintiff, Derek Brown. He says he has video of the defendant wrecking his gate when he towed his car, and the guy's ignoring his request for paying the repairs. The defendant didn't tell him he caused the damage. He tried to get away with it, and he caught him red-handed and is owed $1,200. So he's suing. This is the defendant, Kenneth Landers. He says he never hit a thing leaving the plaintiff's property and can't believe he's being accused of knocking the guy's fence over. This claim against him's totally bogus, and he's confident the judge will toss it out, leaving him the victor. He's accused of a hit and run.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. Brown, you're suing Tire Empire, represented here by Mr. Landers. You're the owner, for $1,200, a cost to repair a fence. Tell me what happened.
All right, Your Honor. On October 30th, I guess Mr. Landers' tire shop was petitioned to come to my house and get my car.
To repossess it?
I knew they were coming. Yes, I knew they were coming because we had some issues with the shop. I knew they was coming.
What do you mean with the shop? What do you mean with the shop?
So with the car lot. So the car that I had wasn't originally my car.
Okay.
And they gave me this car, and it wasn't working right. So we was working that out, trying to get it fixed, situated.
Not according to them, I guess, because so they wanted to repossess it. Were you paying for it, or you weren't paying for it?
Yeah, I was paying for it. It was a mix in communication. One time I came to the shop, the tire shop, to pay Mr. Landry himself, and he never told the business that I paid him 2 days later.
Okay, who has the loan on this? I'm confused. Who did the financing on this?
Florida United Auto Sales.
All right, and what does Tire Empire, Mr. Landers, have to do with Florida United Auto Sales?
Well, whenever Florida United Auto Sales needs a car repoed, they hand me the repossession order and I pick it up for them.
Okay, so I'm wondering why, Mr. Brown, you would give him a car payment. Why? Did you ever accept a car payment from Mr. Brown?
Yes.
You do? Okay. How come?
Well, I am affiliated with the owner of Florida United Auto Sales.
Okay, who is the owner? Like, how are you affiliated, I guess?
She's my child's mother.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, so, Mr. Brown, you knew they were coming to repossess the car, and what happens?
So I left the keys in the car. I left it in my backyard because I have a driveway. It's a wraparound driveway.
Did you tell them I'm leaving the keys in the car?
No, ma'am. I don't think I told Steve, no one from the Tire Empire, that the keys were in the car.
Okay, so how are they going to know that they don't have to tow it and that the keys are in? Oh, it wouldn't start anyway?
It wouldn't start anyway.
Okay, go on.
So they backed up. They pushed the car backwards. They pushed it back out of my driveway. Then they backed the tow truck up in my yard. And the tow truck backed up fine. They got it loaded up. And on the way them pulling out, the tow truck somehow on the left-hand side of my driveway, the tow truck hit my gate, bent the post backwards, and knocked the fence down.
Okay.
It was two guys walking out of my yard. Mr. Landry's son and his best friend were walking out of my yard. When they saw the gate had failed, they ran and jumped inside the tow truck.
Okay.
I then, after I saw the video, because I have home security, after I saw the video, I called Florida United Auto Sales. I said, so what do you want to do? Mr. Landers told me that he would pay to get the gate fixed and to send him how much it will be. I said, okay. This was on 10/30. I had a gate company come out to measure how much it would be for a 4-foot piece of gate, which what I need to replace. Then he told me that because my gate post, I had a concrete driveway, and they bent the post back, so now it's under the driveway. They would have to cut out a 4-foot section of the concrete in order to get the post out. So
How
I
about
sent them
that?
both
4
invoices.
feet. That sounds like a lot, but go ahead.
Well, not 4 feet, like a 12 by 12 foot of
Right.
concrete out to get the
Well,
post
12
out.
by 12 foot of concrete. You mean inches, right? Because it's just the concrete post of the.
Inches.
Yeah, okay. Go on.
So I sent them an invoice for the gate, and then I sent them how much it would be for the concrete and what it would cost.
And how
to
much
pour it
was
back
all
and put it
this?
back in there. The gate was $498. To have someone come out and pour concrete was $320, and to cut it.
So
And
what
then
was the
labor
total bill that you
behind-
told him?
$1,200.
Okay. Now, Mr. Landers, let me hear from you.
It's true. I went out there and repossessed the car. There was no key in the car. The car ran,
Okay.
but we didn't have a set of keys.
Okay.
So we loaded it on the tow truck, and it was a long vehicle. It was an SUV, and it was a 30-foot truck. And I pulled out of his driveway, and the very back of the truck, as I made the left to pull out, clipped the end of the gate.
Okay.
I looked in the mirror, and the gate was not attached. It was leaning, in my opinion, the gate was not attached. It was leaning against the post. And I looked in the mirror, and I saw the gate just fall over. And I figured it was just lying there. It had just popped off the hinges. These gates, they just actually just set on the hinge. You can lift them right off and lift them right on. But I left the gate, and I left. And I told Mr. Brown the next day when I spoke with Mr. Brown.
Right, but did he
I
call
left
you
him-
or did you call him?
He called the office manager.
To complain that
told
you
the
had wrecked
office
his gate. Okay.
Yes, and I told the office manager for him to get me a bill, and I would take care of it.
Okay.
He gave us a bill on his own company for $1,200, and I thought it was totally unreasonable and wanting too much. And I sent some exhibits. I don't know if you have them or not, but I have a Google Earth picture of the gate that was taken 12/18, December of 2018, showing the gate in the same exact condition that it was when I went by there 11/15. I mean, I said to you these pictures, you should
Yeah,
have them.
I'll take a look at them now. Can I ask you, do you know Mr. Brown?
I've had an ongoing relationship with Mr. Brown for over 20 years. I must have sold him at least half a dozen cars over the years. Some of them he's paid for, most of them he has not.
So have you repossessed cars from him before?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, why do you, how many?
I don't know. I've lost count over the years.
But then why do you keep selling him cars? Obviously, it works out for you, or you
like,
wouldn't.
like I said, I'm no longer involved with Florida United Auto Sales,
Okay.
but he pays for them about half the time. As long as they're running, he pays for them.
How many times has he repossessed cars from you, Mr. Brown?
So when I was younger, I've been knowing Mr. Steve since I've been 16. I'll be 42 next month. I bought my first car from him when I was 17.
Okay.
16 and a half, 17. So this has been going back for a while.
Isn't this weird, though, that they keep selling you cars and then they've repossessed several of them?
Well, you know, like he said, I will pay for it as long as it runs. He just said that as long as they run, I'll pay for it.
Yeah, but it's your car and it breaks down, so it's your problem to get it fixed.
Well, at that time, back then, they had a repair shop. It was called Big Chief's. It was a different name. And they repaired the cars at his own shop.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about the gate. First of all, I'd like to see the actual video that you told me I could see, so give me 1 second.
And yes, ma'am, before you start the video, if you pay attention to the left-hand side, which he's incurring, you'll see that the gate is up. About middle ways towards the end, you'll see where it hits, it rocks, and then it'll go from there.
Yeah, you can see it spring back or something. And then the two fellows come out, and then they run to the car. That may be what they do whenever they repossess a car, though.
That is true.
Yeah. All right. Now, you were originally denying that having clipped it, but you realized, did you ever see this video? Did you know that you guys had hit it?
I knew there was a ring camera there.
Yeah.
And like I said, the post is still standing.
You're
I
not
saw the
driving that
gate.
vehicle, right? You're not the person, you are?
Yeah.
Okay, so didn't you feel the hit when you hit it?
No. I mean, that scraping noise you heard was the bottom of the truck dragging on the driveway as it was coming down.
You think?
It was not hitting the gate. Yeah, I know. That's the truck dragging on the driveway.
But
Maybe, which also shouldn't happen, by the way. You'd be destroying my driveway if you did that. But let's see your evidence, which is Google Maps from 12/18. What am I looking at here?
You're looking at the gate not connected, leaning against a tree.
Right, but that's not what we have on the day of the video. It appears to have been fixed before then.
Well, I don't know if it was actually connected. I think it was leaning against the post.
Well, I'll see in the video whether that's the case or not.
Yeah, well, if you can.
In the beginning of the video, if you go back to the beginning, you'll see that the gate is up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. If it's just leaning there, it wouldn't stay up. There's nothing to hold it up. So it can't just be leaning there, although I do see that it's tilted. And then when you leave, I don't see it on the floor. What I see is that it's still, am I looking at the wrong thing? Because I see it, see right there where the boys run? I still see it standing up.
No, ma'am. You're looking at the gate on the right-hand side.
No, I'm not. I'm looking at the gate on the left-hand side.
Right there, it's falling down, right? It's rocking, and it just fell.
Okay, I know. I don't see that.
All right, so you're looking at, and you're calling it so it's not on the passenger side, it's on the driver's side.
Correct.
Of the vehicle.
I'm looking only at the fence that's on the driver's side, which is past, his truck. On the other side, on the left side of his truck.
Yeah,
That's what you want me to look at, right?
Yes, ma'am. So
Okay, so I'm looking at it right now, and I'm taking a real good mental picture of it. I see a leaning over fence. It's leaning, but it's erect. What else should I be seeing there?
So I don't know if you can see my camera. I took a still picture. So I took a still picture of it. That's the fence on that side right there that
Hold
you
on.
can't see.
Hold on.
All right. So right here is the fence you just showed. It's standing up right now. On this side, the whole gate is up.
Okay. I
right,
only
so that's
see it
how it was
standing up
before.
on the right side. I do not see it standing up on the left side. Show me where it's standing up on the left side and how I should see it.
So I drew an arrow. Can you see the arrow that I just drew?
Pull
In blue
back.
marker?
Okay. I see an arrow.
And
Maybe
right
I
below
can
the
see
arrow
it.
is the fence.
Maybe I can see it. Okay.
The fence is standing up right there.
All right.
And then if you stand right here 1 second, I'll show you afterward what it looks like after they pulled out. So right here at the bottom of their feet, if you can see the bottom of their feet, right here, the bottom of their feet.
Okay.
The gate is not, if you look right at the bottom of his foot, now you see the gate laying on the ground right here. Now the gate is on the ground, and that's when they take off running once they get to the gate.
I don't see what you want me to see here. I don't see, it sounds to me like they hit it, but mostly it sounds to me like they hit it. But how do you figure it's $1,200, by the way? Because he was willing to pay something to fix it, but how do you figure in any way, shape, or form that it's $1,200? And by the way, what's that piece of fence lying on the ground in the foreground?
That was the old fence. That was the old fence.
What's
was in
that
the yard.
doing there?
It's just still sitting there. It's how it sits there. I was leaning up on that gate, and when we cut my grass, that grass was cut sometime that week, and that's where they set it at, as we was cleaning out the yard. You can see the trees and stuff. The palm tree was just cut down, and some of that is sitting at the yard as well. We were getting everything out the yard because the city had came by and issued us a warning about it.
You know, just really the problem I have is that the distance is so far, and the thing is leaning already. And so what cost would repairing the fence have, and would it be this ridiculous amount that you're asking for? And it wouldn't, but let's see what I think it might be.
So if I may say speak, please.
Yeah, who is Old Time Fence?
That was the Old Time Fencing Company. Because Mr. Landers asked me to get an estimate. That's how much it costs for a 4-foot piece of fence. So you see where the fence is swing at? they swing in the middle.
So this is, wait, this is your own estimate, Derek's handyman service. This is your own estimate of labor is $1,200.
Yeah, so
Instead of getting me an independent third-party estimate, you just made up your own?
no, ma'am. I know. I put the price for the fence. I put the price for the fence in there, which Old Time is going to do, and then how much it would cost, what I would charge for concrete.
Do you have any contradicting evidence about what the fence should cost?
Well, if you look at my picture taken on 11/15, the gate is perfectly fine. It ain't bent. It ain't damaged in any way. It's off the hinges.
Okay, what did you hit, sir? What did you hit?
If anything, I hit the pole that the gate is carried on.
Okay.
2-inch pole that's a foot in the ground, held in by a bag of concrete. So it would take maybe an hour to dig a hole to remove the old concrete.
So why didn't you just go over there and do it?
I offered to, and here I am being dragged to court.
Okay, because he didn't want that. He wanted the cash.
That's
so he could buy a new car from you.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, he's delinquent. He got that car back, and he's delinquent on it at the moment.
You got to be kidding me. All right.
No.
No, ma'am, I'm not. My car note is due on the 18th, sir.
All right, guys.
Oh, well, you know what? Since he brought that, so can I ask? I
Yes.
have one more thing to say, Your
Yes.
Honor, before you make your verdict.
Yeah.
So I understand what he said is accurate, but the only thing is when they bent the pole back, that concrete is now up under my driveway, under the concrete up under my driveway. That's why I just can't dig it out. That's the only. I agree with everything he said there, but because they bent the pole backwards and it was poured with concrete, a piece of the driveway
I'm
needs to be
ordering
cut
the
out.
defendant to pay the plaintiff the sum of $350. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
Thank you, Your Honor. I've been there.
So the judge does some rough justice and comes up with a $350 figure. Mr. Landers, that's what you got to give the plaintiff, Mr. Brown. Let me ask you this. You've had your problems with him. You've known him for a long, long time, obviously. Will you still sell him cars, more cars?
If he brings cash.
You'll sell anybody if
pays
they have
for 'em.
bring cash, right?
He pays for him half the time. So long as they're running, he'll pay for them. That's the way it is with everybody.
He admitted that. And you say he's not alone. Okay. Mr. Brown, $350. That's
Yes,
what the
sir.
judge says. How do you feel about that? What do you think? Can you do it for
I
that?
mean, I'm fine. I mean, I'm going to get the gate. It's going to get repaired, and we just moving on. If he was going to get it fixed, he could have been fixed it.
Anyway, bottom line is you think you can fix it for $350, right? And you'll do it yourself. Is that right?
I mean, I mean, I'm gonna pay somebody to do it, so it doesn't. It's okay. It's gonna get fixed.
Okay. Good enough. And hopefully, if you need another car, if you got some cash, he'll sell
Yeah.
it to you. Okay, that'll bring this case to a close. And good luck to you. $350 for the plaintiff. Harvey.
You know, Doug, just an aside, I really think these Ring doorbells are going to change a lot because now it's not that you have to pull a cell phone out to record the damage. You can just go to a neighbor and say, can I get the video from your Ring doorbell? And oftentimes that unlocks the key to these cases.
My husband had to miss a day of work because a local business's truck hit a phone pole, and my husband's company was told by the fire department they all had to evacuate the building because there were live wires. My husband is wanting to sue for his lost wages. Who does he sue, the driver or the company?
If I'm him, I'm not suing anybody. I'm looking at this, and it's a series of unfortunate events here. One that led to wires coming down and ultimately no power, and I guess he wasn't able to work that day. But my goodness, I don't think he really has a cause of action. What if the guy in the truck was forced off the road, and we don't know enough? Was forced off the road by another vehicle and hit the thing.
Even
Where's
if it
his
was the
liability?
driver's negligence, I don't know that somebody being evacuated by the fire department is a foreseeable consequence of his negligence. That's really removed there.
Right. I just don't see it. A car accident?
A car having an accident?
A car accident might have been 10 miles away. We don't even know. It could have been 10 or 15 miles from this place. And, what direction the power is going to go in and all the people it's going to affect. Can you imagine what it would cost if you were able to sue the company and everybody who missed work that day?
Well, everybody in the building presumably
right.
could.
The damages could be in the millions.
So he has a car accident that results in X damage, but then all of a sudden it becomes everybody's wages that day. That's a little far-fetched.
This is the plaintiff, Robin Guess. She says she brought her BMW to the defendant's repair shop, and instead of using authentic BMW parts, he snuck aftermarket parts on her car, and now she has problems. She needed to have it repaired correctly. The defendant refuses to do the work on his dime with real BMW parts, so she's suing him for $1,043, the cost of the repair. This is the defendant, William Ramirez. He says he tried to help this woman out because she purchased the car from him. But you know what they say, nice guys finish last. He did everything he could to please this woman. She's suing him 9 months after he repaired the car, and he's not giving her a refund. He's accused of being a shoddy mechanic.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff says that the defendant used aftermarket parts on her BMW rather than authentic BMW parts, and now her car doesn't run right. But the defendant claims he did everything in his power to please this lady and can't. So now it's the judge's job. It's the case of a Beamer bummer.
I've been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right. Ms. Guess, you are suing Our Next Car Incorporated, represented here by William Ramirez. You're the owner, correct, Mr. Ramirez?
That's correct.
And he was your car broker when you got this car. You're suing him for a mechanical repair that didn't last. All right, I'm getting all kinds of confused. So you explain to me what happened here, Ms. Guess.
I brought my car to Our Next Car to get a valve cover fixed.
Well, why did you do that? He's a he's a car broker. He's not a mechanic.
No, he actually has a repair shop on the premises of the facility, and I've routinely seen his mechanics work on cars that he then sells. So, and he did that with the car I bought. So it was reasonable for me to think that he could do this for the car that he had actually sold me. Okay. So I took it to him for the repair. He charged me $1,043. Now, this is during, obviously, the pandemic. So when I got the car repaired, I wasn't driving it much. But when I actually put enough miles on it, I found that the valve cover was still leaking oil and smoking. So I returned to Our Next Car and said, Will, the problem isn't fixed. He said, okay, bring it in. I did bring it in.
How far are they from you?
Quite a ways, 35 miles. But my usual mechanic was having problems at the time because of the pandemic, and he was understaffed and couldn't get it done reasonably. Anyway, it worked out that Will could get it done. So I took it to him. Subsequently, I found out that the work was not done adequately, and I still had the problem. I went back to Will because
How much subsequently?
Let's see. I did the work in September. I think I first contacted him that the problem was not fixed in February or March.
Okay.
I brought it in, and the day that I brought it in, he was like, he didn't have time to fix it or it was a problem. So I returned to Santa Monica and said, okay, give me a day when I can bring it in and we can get this done. That didn't happen to my satisfaction and in a timely fashion. So I went to my Santa Monica mechanic, and they said, well, listen, this part will still be under warranty. You're not a year out. BMW will guarantee it. It may be just a lemon. We can go ahead, get the receipt from Our Next Car. We will submit this to BMW. They'll give us a new valve cover. We'll put it in and you'll be on your way. I asked Will, I need the receipt for the valve cover that you guys put in my car in September so that we can go back and have the manufacturer warranty it. He refused to do it. And I was like, why would you refuse to do it? This costs you nothing. He just refused to do it. That's when I suspected that he either didn't do the work or that fraudulently put some aftermarket or something else in my car.
Why would putting an aftermarket be fraudulent?
Because they don't work in the BMW. BMW highly recommends you use their parts because the other ones don't work. And the one that was in there was an aftermarket one, and that's why it was leaking.
Okay. When you asked him to do the repair, did you actually ask him to use a BMW one?
Absolutely. Absolutely, and they made it very clear.
Why didn't you
that I
have any
needed a BMW.
paperwork?
Paperwork
Like from him?
regarding-
Why didn't you have do you have something from him that says the work that was done?
I do not, and I did not realize until I complained to the regulatory agency in California, the Bureau of Automotive Repair, that what he did was illegal. Repair shops do have to issue a itemized receipt of what parts they bought, the labor that
Right.
they charged. I just trusted him because he sold me the car and I liked the car. I had no idea. I just did not.
Let me hear from you,
expect
Mr.
him to-
Ramirez. She wants her money back because she had to, 6 months later, she had to pay $1,800 to fix the same problem. And according to her, she told you she wanted a BMW part and you sold that to her, and then it turns out it's not a BMW part, it was an aftermarket part. Let me hear your version on this.
Well, Robin came into the office. Well, she called us and she said, "Hey, Will, I'm having a problem with my buggy," because that's what she calls it. She says, "I need a couple of things done to it. I need brakes done, my rear bumper. I keep on hitting the back of the car, so I need that fixed. And it's leaking oil. My mechanic says the car's leaking oil." So I said, "Sure, we can help you." And obviously, she didn't come to us because we're conveniently closed. She didn't come to us because, we're a BMW dealership either. She came to us because we charge a lot less than what she would pay at the BMW dealership. If you want original BMW parts and original BMW mechanics working on your car, you would take your car to a BMW dealership. Which
Right, but I could take my car to a mechanic and say I want, I'll pay for the BMW part. Like, in other words, if I could take my car to my regular mechanic and say, put in an original BMW part, they just order it, that's all. And it probably raises
Absolutely.
the price. So did she say to you, I want a BMW part?
She said she wanted her car repaired, and she said she wanted a BMW part. And that's when we contacted the mechanic, and the mechanic came in. He ordered all the parts. He gave her a receipt at the time of the repairs. So I don't know why she says that wasn't given to her.
Okay, but I don't
very
understand.
smart.
She brought it to you to repair. Who are you referring to when you say the mechanic? It's a guy on your site, right?
No, we don't have a mechanic for public people. We fix our own vehicles, which was perfectly lawful for us to do. We get cars, sometimes they need maintenance, and we have our own mechanic that does work
Right,
for us.
but this isn't your car.
No.
This is her car. And for that, you do
Correct.
need a license. So why were you
Correct.
fixing her car if you're not
So
licensed to do that?
I did not fix her car. I hired a mobile mechanic, which comes in on site, and he is licensed, and he did the work for her car, and he actually performed the work.
So
Gave her a receipt,
you're
and
being
she was
sued
on
by
it.
her on this case. Do you have the actual paperwork that licensed mechanic gave her? Did you call
No,
your
I do
guy and
not.
say, give me a copy of it?
We tried to call him when the Bureau of Automatic Repair came in, because she did file a formal complaint with the bar, and they came in and they asked all that information. And we tried to contact that mechanic. Unfortunately, that mechanic's phone number is no longer in service. So we did try that. And her original complaint was a receipt. She was never talking about monetary or anything like that. We found that out.
Well, she wanted the receipt because once she took the car to her own mechanic said, this is not a BMW part.
That was never told to us.
What?
Was her complaint was she needed a receipt.
No, according to the new place, that is an aftermarket part, not a BMW part. So she now, and her concern is she has no paperwork with this other entity. The only paperwork she has is with you because she has your credit. You took her credit card as payment. What's that about?
Well, she wanted to pay the mechanic with her credit card, and we know that mobile mechanics don't accept credit cards. She also wanted her points on her American Express to build up, so she asked us to use her card, which we charged, and we paid cash to the mechanic.
Okay. Have you ever been given the name of this mechanic, and were you told that you were taking your car to a separate entity that wasn't them, Ms. Guess?
Never, Your Honor. I would not have done that. I mean, if I were going to employ a mobile mechanic,
You'd
I
have him come to
certainly
your
would have
house.
Driven exactly, because that's the whole purpose.
Okay, so in your mind, he's fixing it at his place where he fixes stuff, and you don't know who he hired to fix it. It doesn't make a difference to you, and you paid him. That's why you filed the complaint with the right. And what happened with the complaint with the what is it called?
The Bureau of Automotive Repair, which is the regulatory agency in California, which
and what happened with them,
licenses
Mr. Ramirez?
enforces.
What happened with them?
So he came in, we explained what happened in the situation, and he tried to explain to Ms. Robin that seals and gaskets do not have a 1-year warranty. And they especially won't warranty it if BMW themselves did not install it. So he tried to explain to her that the receipt's not going to do her any good. They're still not going to give her any warranty.
Was
on the
he your
part
cousin or
because
something?
No,
Because
absolutely
his
not.
job was to investigate you for taking money for a repair when you don't have a license to take money for a repair. That was the only job that guy had. And why didn't he cite you?
Okay, so his remarks on the bar report clearly states Ramirez was not able to locate the mobile mechanic to obtain a copy of the receipt for the repairs and did not offer a resolution to the complaint because he did not profit from the repairs. That was his investigation. That was his
How would
findings.
he know? That just means
'Cause
you
he
told
did
him
his
you didn't
investigation.
profit. That means he
No,
bought.
he saw.
That means he bought this. Oh, I just used my credit card so she could get points. You know who doesn't buy it? Me. I don't buy it.
Welcome back to the People's Court. The defendant is balking, saying he is not going to fix the plaintiff's car for free 9 months after he handled it. And if she wants anything additional done, she has to pay for it. Let's go back into the courtroom and find out how the judge feels.
You were getting paid to do a repair that you don't have a license to do a repair on. But worse, you admitted to me in the middle of this trial that she had asked for a BMW part. And now I have the evidence from her mechanic who charged her $1,800 to have the job done, saying that this particular valve was not BMW genuine. It is FEBI brand. So it was an aftermarket part. So you've already told me I may have taken the money from her, but I just gave it to another guy who's he's gone. He's some alley mechanic no one can find. So I have no responsibility in this. Seriously?
No, we asked her to bring the car in so we can rectify the problem. She just
Except
never
what
did
happened with that, Ms. Guess? You bring the
I
car
brought
in.
it in to have them rectify the problem. They said the valve cover wasn't the problem. They said it was the oil cap. And so they wanted to just change out the oil cap, but that just wasn't credible to me. So that's why I pursued.
Did they
my
change the
complaint.
oil cap?
They did change the oil cap.
And then did the smoking stop?
No, it did not.
And then you drove it off smoking?
I drove it off. Well, it takes it a while. The engine has to get warm for the smoking to start. But by the time I went from there to Santa Monica, yes, I still had smoking.
So, Mr. Ramirez, it's basically you're saying, wasn't me. Even though we're watching you with our eyes, you're the only guy here. You're the one she went to for the repair. You're the one who has a credit card slip. I don't know who works for the Bureau of Automotive Repairs and what they're thinking. But according to you, he told you it's a good thing you didn't give her a receipt or I'd have to cite you. What kind of a statement is that? What was that about? Because if that's what he said, he knows that you did charge her because there's the credit card receipt. So it's just like bizarre. But in any event, according to you, Ms. Guest, they did cite him? What did they cite him with?
Yes, attachment C, where you see the Bureau of Automotive Repair Station Inspection Report. I advise Ramirez that it is unlawful to hold themselves out to the motoring public as an automotive repair dealer.
Did they make you pay a fine, Mr. Ramirez?
There was no fine paid.
Okay.
And that comment where you said he advised me not to give her a receipt was not due to that. It was because her original complaint was that she wanted a receipt. And she was, give me a receipt or I'll go to the bar and complain about you.
Yeah.
So we were actually this close to giving her a receipt just to get her off our back. And that's when we explained that to the bar investigator. And he says, well, had you done that, then I would have to cite you because that shows proof you're actually doing it for profit.
Which is,
by the way,
know, I want you to work with me a second and think about what you just said, what the guy said to you. I don't doubt the guy said to you. Do you realize how asinine that is? Because he tells you that because you fell short of giving her what somebody should have given her before, you're going to skate. Like, it's just, you know what? We've gone over this too many times. So the bottom line is she pays you $1,043. You, not Collazo, not Cheo from the hallway. You, $1,043. And you tell people I didn't profit, even though the only evidence of who profited was you, because you have provided zero to show that that money went anywhere other than your pocket. And, okay, I got to decide. The thing breaks again. Yeah, it's 6 months later. But you told me at this trial, yeah, she asked for a BMW part. Well, guess what? I have proof it's not a BMW part from her mechanic. and we know it broke again, and we know that putting in a non-BMW part has not lasted because that had already happened the last time. I'm ordering you to return her money, $1,043, verdict for the plaintiff.
Can I ask you a question, Your Honor?
So the plaintiff prevails. She is going to get her money back. Mr. Ramirez, did you learn anything from this experience? I mean, that plaintiff obviously is someone not to be fooled around with, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And people like that, you know, it's the cost of doing business. Unfortunately, you try to help people. She came to us because we were a lot cheaper than her mechanic was. And unfortunately, it backfired on us because we try to help a customer and we end up in this situation.
Okay, all right. Let's talk to the plaintiff now. Ms. Guest, you went to a lot of work to prepare for this lawsuit. You satisfied with the verdict? I'm sure you are.
I am. I'm very, very satisfied. I think that the judge was very, very fair, and she examined all the documents. I went through a lot of work to provide her with very clear and convincing evidence.
You know, one logical question: if you were so sure you wanted BMW parts, why didn't you take your car to BMW? Have them do the repair.
Well, I do have a BMW dealership here in Santa Monica, but they'll charge 3 times as much in labor for the same work, and I'm not in a position to just give money away like that.
Okay, I hope you're satisfied with the outcome of the case and you will get your money back. So congratulations.
Well, Doug, the plaintiff was smart by getting an expert to make it clear that these were not authentic BMW parts, and that's why the plaintiff won. By the way, in the event that putting bad parts in a car causes even more damage than the cost of the job itself, the defendant would be on the hook for that. All of the damages that emanate from doing the job poorly.
If I have an emotional support animal named Peanut, can I take her into restaurants and stores, and can airlines deny her from sitting in my seat with me?
The situation for flying with emotional support animals changed last January. In January 2021, the Department of Transportation changed their regulations so that airlines now don't have to accept an emotional support animal the way they would a service animal. The service animals get on board without having to pay extra when they ride inside of the cabin of the aircraft.
It used to be that if it was an emotional support animal, your pet flew free. And as usual, humans who are greedy took a good thing and just overreached, and the pendulum swung because other humans got, you know, one of my daughter's best friends growing up had an allergy to dogs.
Right.
She would have to get off the plane.
Right.
And you know, and then you're sitting there at a restaurant and someone's dog's behind is on the seat next to you over there. You know, so people have abused what was something that made sense. All of a sudden was so abused that now they've curtailed it.
Right. You know, our daughter Christina took her cat on an airplane about 3 or 4 months ago, bringing it home to our house.
Right.
And it got
by the way, I paid the $100. And
you did.
the
You paid the money. Good.
But the animal got
loose.
Yeah.
And she's looking
and a tiny little. She had left a little bit open, and the animal got. And the cat was a kitten at the time.
And it ended up like up by the cockpit, trying to get in the doors. Storming the cockpit.
She's running down the hall.
Tiny.
People are filming her on her hands and knees trying to get the kid. You know, stuff happens.